Providence is getting painted. I'm sure you've seen it. Beautiful murals taking up entire facades, breathing even more life into the city. These are creative works from amazingly talented people. Look at that. Even this abandoned building has been repurposed into an art installation. I love it. And this is all thanks to the Avenue Concept, an organization here in Rhode Island who work to fund and support the creation and installation of artwork in public spaces. And they're not done. In fact, they just helped to bring another fresh one to the city. Let me start with a little riddle for you. What happens when you combine a talented artist, a Trader Joe's grocery store, and the Providence River in Rhode Island? Well, you get this. A mural so beautiful, so detailed, so filled with history that I just had to make a video about it. You're looking at a tribute to the history of trade, culture, and advertising on the Providence River in Rhode Island, a river that's walking distance from this Trader Joe's. See? I'm not joking. It's right there. I'm going to show you why this is so special and why you should care about it. Actually, let's just hear from the artist himself.
My name is Greg. I go by the nom de plume Greg Was Here. I am a mural painter, sign painter, illustrator. This particular mural was proposed by the Avenue Concept in conjunction with Trader Joe's. So this mural was inspired by the space around it, the Providence River Basin, and the harbor, and the subsequent trade and commerce that took place here from roughly 1600 to the early 1900s. This mural in particular is kind of a collection of murals, if you will. It mimics a lot of what you would see around the turn of the century, where there would be pasted handbills at pedestrian level, and then above that there are runner signs for businesses, and different advertisements kind of stacked up in this collage of imagery and information. So each of these elements is kind of its own individual sign or mural, and they all kind of took their own path to creation. The mural is important because it underscores and highlights the history of various communities that have existed in this neighborhood, in this space, around this river for centuries. And it's important to remember the things that occurred here, the people that inhabited this space, how they lived, and what they had.
Now that Greg gave us some context, let's get into what the images mean. First, we got Pronto Dry Goods, a reference to Pronto Market, the original store name of Trader Joe's. Below that is a reference to the Indigenous community whose land contemporary Providence occupies. But instead of me talking about that, let's hear from an expert on the matter.
My name is Silver Moon LaRose, and I'm the Assistant Director at the Tamaquag Museum. Tamaquag is Rhode Island's only Indigenous-led museum, and we are dedicated to sharing the history and culture of the Indigenous people of this land. The portion of the mural that's most significant to me is the imagery of flint corn. Flint corn was a staple crop for Indigenous people. Narragansett flint corn is a particular strain of corn cultivated by our community. By bringing attention to Ashawag Farm and the address that you can actually visit in person, they are growing Narragansett flint corn on the farm. It's run by 2 Narragansett tribal members doing the work of Indigenous food sovereignty. So I think that's an exciting promotion for their small business as well.
Heading back to the mural now, and moving to the main section, next is an image of a young girl based upon a Soapine trade card depicted as a street poster, which partially covers the Narragansett Bay Oyster Company of Rhode Island trade cards, also shown as posters. The sign painter ad for Maximilian Wolfgang is a personal reference for Greg, a nod to a local artist who passed away. To the right are trade cards based upon those from the Bugbee and Brownell spice manufacturer. The Providence Import Company sign is a nod to ship operators who use the river here to avoid Newport and British tax and discreetly distribute their goods tax-free. Sneaky. The next 2 below are references to Cape Verdean history and influence in the area. So let's bring in another expert for some more context.
Okay, my name is Yvonne Smart, and my current title is I'm the Educational Coordinator at the Cape Verdean Museum. When people see that mural, they may be, especially newcomers to Rhode Island, would be curious to investigate what that is. What's most appealing to me is the two images that have to do with Cape Verde. The Nellie Mae was a schooner purchased by Cape Verdeans and owned by Cape Verdeans, which was bought by Antonio Coelho. The important part isn't just that he went to Cape Verde, but that he came back with a boatload of folks and started the schooner trade, bringing people back and forth directly from Cape Verde to Providence and New Bedford. And that's how most of the Cape Verdeans came to America at that time, was on our own boat. The Voz da Colônia was one of the first Portuguese language newspapers. Beside newspapers, it also published broadsides and other notices for the community. So he really functioned as an important part of the community.
If you can't tell by now, a lot of care and attention to detail went into this mural, which brings us to the final two images. A fish company ad that includes a lobster as a nod to the plastic lobster present in each Trader Joe's store, and a trade card of the Providence steamship, with the woman looking back on the history represented while the ship sails on into the future. So the next time you're in Providence and need some peanut butter pretzels at Trader Joe's, come check out this mural and appreciate the history, because there's a lot of it.